Hi, this is Rick Harsh. This is a sort of booktube um, that I'm using as a vehicle to spread the word about the press Corona samizdat books. Some of my books um, are sold by Corona samizdat, but the writers of Corona samizdat are often almost all very generous, and I think that springs in part from the with the older ones, the ones over 35, say, from a lifetime of either not writing or not publishing or publishing uh, in an irritating bureaucratic environment. And so when they have royalties after 2 years from me, they have royalties ranging from 30 to 200 euros. They often don't even want them. One of the funny ones was one Canadian writer um, uh, donated his royalties to another Canadian writer who also operates a press and who refused the donation. and I think what I've decided to do is to promote that or help that press by just using the money to buy as many books as I can with that money, because we do have we have a library. If I want to buy a book, I can use the money for this to enhance the library. So the library is sort of here's a word, curated by me. Um, Curated, fuck that. It's a new one. It's a new one. There are others. Just I've been thinking of keeping track of cliches as I watch the news, and and I have two of them just from today since I got the idea, um, and so this is where we've just moved into the cliche portion of our show. Um, the cliches of today are under the bus and truth to power. Um, I'm all for speaking truth to power, but I just hate the fucking cliche. I wish nobody would say it anymore. And I do have this in my personal life. I use this. I speak of this, and people often think that I'm a little bit too hard on the cliche. But suffice it to say, the cliche is making inroads on intelligence through its undermining of language. Um, as long as you can just say under the bus instead of whatever you would normally say using your thought, your and linguistic powers or endowments, uh, you're chipping away at your abilities, and this will be passed on to our youth. It's being passed on to a youth that's already under a great deal of pressure from new technologies. So, under the bus and truth to power. Now, what I really like is the neologism. A fantastic neologism was brought up by I think it was an accident. It was purely he was misspeaking. He wanted to say he was very much anti Palestinian, and he used the term infantada. He was trying to say intifada, but when he said infantada, I mean, I wrote it down right away. I thought, God, I wish I'd have thought of that. And and it's actually apt. It was the first Intifada, especially, was a children's crusade, and Infantada is a good neologism to describe that. So, bravo. Next time we'll have some other cliches, okay? And I'm not asking you to repeat them. I'm asking you to stop repeating them, to point them out, to tell people, no, 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 none of your fucking cliches, Infantada. I'm on an infantada too, because as I age, I go back to there's an arc. I reached my peak sometime probably in my 50s. Now I'm more than halfway through my 60s. So I'm, my efforts in life are sort of infantada. Now, on to what's going on today. I think I've been packing books. Look at that. What a great week we had. And I'm a little behind. I like to pack the books and get them out within a day or two maximum, unless there's the weekend in between where I can't mail anything on Saturday or Sunday. Today's a Sunday, so this is catching up on packing. Why am I behind? We had a visitor, what I guess what's called a sound poet. It makes a lot more sense when you hear the history of it, which you will, because he performed here. He uses a machine that musicians know, a loop machine, in his poetry. And I saw him in Prague, and I said, I think it would be great to have one of your books with a DVD of you performing, because you cannot really get the full sense of it from the book. But I also think that you should support poets and print more books. We have Mark Douglas coming out soon, going to the printer Monday, and so that'll be another poetry book coming out. And so there's your update, which is what this video is all about. But we will have this guy. He's from Frankfurt. His name is Dirk Hilstrunk. Sound poetry comes from the Dada tradition and is shaped by other factors. I won't put words in his mouth because we recorded the words from his mouth. It'll be a kind of docudrama, okay? It'll be a live performance by Dirk Hilstrunk from Frankfurt. We'll be selling a book and DVD, and that'll probably, because of the expense, it'll probably be 15 instead of 10, but it'll also have a DVD instead of no DVD, which has been the standard. Finally, there are some new rules with. Oh, I forgot. This is. Yeah. Okay. The new rules for Corona Samizdat Press are one book per order, one free book per order, because my free book program is coming back to suggest to me that I have I avoided saying coming back to haunt me, which you could say, isn't that a cliche? Yeah, it is, and it's so entrenched that it'd be difficult not to use it. But this is coming back to suggest to me that maybe I cut back on the free books. It's so fun to throw free books into an order, but now the limit will be one per order. It's easiest for me if when you order you write a note, but I might miss it. So always email just to make sure, and also because sometimes a book doesn't fit. For instance, if you order a bended circuity, which we'll go into in a second. If you order a bended circuity, it fits into the same thing that cactus boots fits into. This is the envelope. There's under 200 milligrams space, so the microlines usually fit. Some books fit, some don't, and so I had to tell someone who luckily gave me a long list of books he wanted that, where are they? This one was too big, and I had two different envelopes to choose from, and this one was too big. I don't know if I got them. I might have managed to get them in somehow or not, but I think in a lot of cases, and I did this once today, I made a mistake with my math brain, and I included what the person wanted, and we went over the this should be a 1 kilogram order, but so I have about 80% taken up by this, and the rest by another book. And these are both too big. So when that happens, and I have to mail it, you're paying $16.75, which is ridiculous. And so a free book is a good idea, and it's fair, and we'll all be happy if I can keep it up without running out of stock. You can look at all the books that are out of print, and the intention is to bring them all back into print. So there'll have to be a period where we don't print a lot of new books. I'm hoping that we have a great year, and that I stop printing in October and then just save for the rest of the year. That might work, might not work. Back to the Stickley search. I was going to say the Stickley problem, but it's, how can I say it's a problem? I ran out of Stickley books, I thought, and then I found I have these boxes over here, which are filled with books, and there's so many of them. Sometimes I forget what's in them. I've started writing on the side instead of the top where it's already written, on the side, so that when a box is down at floor level covered by 4 other boxes, I know what it is, and I don't have to go through all the boxes to find the new box of, say, Gary Amdahl's book. We got a lot of those. May have a special soon. Across My Big Brass Bed. Beautiful book. Lovely, lovely classic paperback of ours. And so I found this box of Stickleys, and I didn't announce it, I don't think, but I put it, I changed the 0 on the website to 10, because there are 10 per box, and I sold, I think we're on the Stickley part now, so I think something a little more jaunty would be, yeah, that's what Stickley would wear. Yeah, hi Robert, and we sold them already. They were sold. I'm catching up on orders from, some of them were as far off as last Wednesday, and then I think by we've got some orders since then, but none of them Stickley, because the 10 went like that. So what I might do, and this will be my last persona alteration, what I might do is institute a pre-order, because so many people want the book. They might be able to get us over the hump, and we might be able to afford it very quickly. I don't like pre-orders, because if they take too long, I have your money for too long, and it's also a pain in the ass, because when I send them, I'm spending the postal money that I've already used to print something, and you get this giant bill, postal bill, all at the same time. So I think whenever Stickley comes, I will break up the sending part from, like the end of one month to the beginning of another month, and kind of, have the burden. It's a fair burden, by the way. So speaking of fair burdens, I hope you're all alive, and then you're sharing the same daily burden that I am, that we all are. Thanks. We'll have a guest next time. That's a promise. You can come back and check and see how I violated it.